I must admit, that was one of the biggest errors I made in my life when selling that property. Because listen, in 93, it's 2022. That's 29 years ago. The house would have been paid for. That house, 29 years ago, we bought at $97,000. Today, it's worth over $350,000. Hey, good morning, world. How y'all doing out there today? Again, it's Marcus L. Lewis, man. I come to inspire. I come to motivate and encourage somebody to dream big. Man, if you're not going to dream big, don't dream at all. Hey, listen, I introduced this topic to you on yesterday as it relates to, buying your home, purchasing you some real estate. But primarily, I really want to speak to individuals who have never bought a home, don't know how they can buy a home, sort of stuck with the stigma of that, home is not for them. They can't afford a home. But I want to dispel that myth on today, not only on today, but throughout the course of this week. And I want to empower you. And I want to let you know you can do it. And I'm here to provide you with some tips, with an educational piece. And I want to allow you to see, the value in purchasing a home against losing your money and paying rent. All right? So I got an illustration here that I want to direct your attention to. So come journey along with me. All right, here we go. Now I want to bring this comparison to you. I want to compare rent versus buy as it pertains to real estate or buying a house. Again, I want to primarily speak to individuals who never bought a home before and think that this out of their reach, that that dream is too big for me. No. Despise not small beginnings, as I told you before. So listen in. Now, the average rent in today's market is $1,827. Now that's average across these United States of America, all right? Now, the national median home price is $407,600. Again, that's average. Now, it doesn't say that you can't buy a house for $200,000. This is just average cost, okay? So the average mortgage median payment, that's principal and interest, not to include taxes and insurance, all right, is $1,889. Now, you're going to pay $22,668 a year in annual principal and interest mortgage payment at $1,889 a month. Now, let's compare that to rent. Rent is not that much off than a mortgage payment, just a few dollars off. And also note that rent never decreases. Rent never decreases. And so if I purchase a home, right, this is my annual contribution to the mortgage payment, principal and interest. The property is going to appreciate approximately about 3% a year. Now, if you're renting a property, guess what? The homeowner or the landlord, he or she is getting all that appreciation value in their property, not you as the tenant. All right? Now, I have a very realistic scenario here. It's my own personal example. This happened to me. This is my life story, all right? I'm giving you my own personal example here. My wife and I purchased our first home in 1993. It was a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath home for $97,000 at about 1,900 square footage. All right? We had a mortgage of $747 a month. Of course, about 5 or 6 years later, we sold that home. But I must confess, I must admit, That was one of the biggest errors I made in my life when selling that property. Because listen, in 93, it's 2022. That's 29 years ago. The house would have been paid for. That house, 29 years ago, we bought at $97,000. Today, it's worth over $350,000. Why? Because of the what? Appreciation. The house appreciates in value. Now let's compare this to rent. All right? Again, the average rent is $1,827. Now you may be paying $1,300, but again, this is average. Rent never decreases. The average rent in 1995 was $523. Let's compare that rent to today. $1,827. Average rent times 12 months a year, $21,924. That's only that's shy of your monthly contribution if you was buying a house. Again, you need somewhere to stay. Why not buy your own house? Let me give you another practical analogy here, a realistic example. My daughter purchased her home in April 2020, right at the beginning of the pandemic, all right? The house was worth $125,000 2 years ago. Now, the house is worth $200,000. You're talking about a $75,000 increase in value over what? 2 years. She gets all that appreciation. Why? Because she owns the property. Now, she's renting the house out for $1,300 a month. Remember, rent never decreases. It only goes up. Every year, she can increase her rent, but her mortgage will remain $897. The only time this mortgage would ever go up, if her taxes would increase. And that's going to be slight. That's going to be very, very minimal, not that much. But if it does, guess what? She can increase the rent every year and help cover the offset of the increased taxes that's going to allow her mortgage payment to go up. That's no brainer to me. So I hope and pray that you found some value in this, that you got inspired, that you motivated, that if you're renting a house, say, you know what, man, you know what? I see the value in buying a house. Now, you know what? I'm going to shut the door on this renting. I'm going to open the door to buy me a house so I can get this appreciation. Because at the end of the day, as my dad oftentimes would say, son, always have you someplace to stay. Of course, we need a roof over our head. So why not buy the roof instead of renting it? Tune in on tomorrow. I'm going to break down some more vital information that's going to really jumpstart you and give you some insight and knowledge as to how you can really begin buying your first home. Tune in tomorrow. God bless you.